Greetings, everyone. P. Pardo here. Welcome to another edition of What's Hot with Sea of Tranquility. Yes, it's Wednesday. Yes, new album review day. We've got a few of them for you here today. This is a kind of a big one, pretty notable one. We've got the Technical Ecstasy-Super Deluxe box set from Black Sabbath. Of course, this is their 1976 release. There's what you get here. You get 4 discs in total. You get a book. You get a replica of the tour program. You get a poster. All sorts of cool stuff here. All sorts of cool stuff. So let's do a little unboxing here. Actually, I've already unboxed it, and we need more light. There we go. That's looking a little better, I think, right? There we go. So let's do the unboxing here. Of course. Voila. All white box. This is actually sits on the back, all right, when you first get it. It's the exact same thing. So I just kind of take that off, plop that right back in there in the box. Then you've got, one of these little doohickeys there. First thing that comes out is your hardback book. So this has all sorts of great stuff. If you're a collector like me, the curse is real, folks. You get all sorts of great information, interviews, comments from the band and people around the band, and all sorts of pictures of the singles and B-sides and tour posters and, all the stuff you want, right? I mean, this is all the info about Technical Ecstasy from the guys, this is cool stuff. This is cool stuff. This is good reading right here. Liner notes and from the producer's chair and all sorts of stuff like that. Very cool. So that's first things first. Next, as we dive deeper, we get the Black Sabbath World Tour 1976-77, the official program. I didn't see that tour, so I was a little bit young. I was only, 10, 11 years old at the time, so I was not listening to Black Sabbath just yet. That was coming around the corner in another couple of years, but here is a mini replica version of that tour program. How cool is that? You get to see a picture of the keyboard player from the band, who was, what was his name? Gerald Woodruff. Okay, he's the guy behind the curtain. In most of those shows, Sabbath always seemed to have occasionally a guy behind the curtain, right? It's like, we need some keyboards to flesh out the sound, but we're not going to actually have him join us on stage. So that's pretty cool. Then next up, you've got a, poster you can fold out, all right, of the album cover. And then we've got all the discs. So here they are, folks. All right, these are in these little kind of mini LP replica type sleeve thingies. All right, so first off, we've got, let's find everything. So here is the regular album, okay, 2021 remaster. Okay, you've got the CD right there, as well as a little kind of tray card, what you would get with the original LP, 2021 remaster. Then you have the new Steven Wilson new mix, the new remix by Steven Wilson. We'll get to all this in a second. Then you've got Black Sabbath Technical Ecstasy's Outtakes and Alternative Mixes, once again by Steven Wilson. And then you've got Technical Ecstasy Live World Tour 76-77. You have a selection of live tracks from the tour. Okay, so let's go one thing at a time here. First, the original album in its original mix, remastered, sounds good. Sounds good. I don't know how much it sounds different than previous remasters I've heard. To my ears, kind of sounds more of the same. Good solid mix, right? Or nothing earth-shattering, but definitely maybe sounds a little brighter, right? So off to Steven Wilson's remix, okay, the new mix here. Here's where it gets a little interesting. I listened to these two side by side, back to back, a couple of times since I've had this, and I note that on Steven Wilson's new mix, there's and you can say this about almost anything that he's ever remixed, right? There's definitely a separation in the instruments and a clarity that you haven't really heard before. But to my ears, what I hear most on this new mix is that the keyboards, really the keyboards, but also the bass and the drums are a little higher in the mix. Ozzy's vocals are a little more clear, and Iommi's guitar work is just dropped down a little notch, so that these songs sound, they're not as much guitar driven as I think the original mix is. I definitely hear, the little bits of Hammond organ and electric piano and little bits of synths here and there. You definitely hear them much, much more in the mix. Ozzy's vocals, like I said, have more of a clarity to them. It's definitely a little bit brighter, and there's more room for everything to breathe in this mix. And you can specifically hear that on songs like You Won't Change Me and Gypsy. It's Alright is the original mono single on here, so he didn't do a remix on that. But what else? She's Gone, Dirty Women, All Moving Parts Stand Still. Yeah, you're just hearing more things. I don't hear it as much on Rock and Roll Doctor and Backstreet Kids. Those sound fairly similar to the original mix, although, like I said, there is a little bit of the keyboards are a little higher in the mix. The keyboards are more prominent here, to my ears anyway. That's what I hear. So I kind of like this. I've never thought the original Technical Ecstasy album was a fantastically produced album. It always to me sounded kind of muddy, and like I said, I think the new remaster adds a little brightness. This adds a little more clarity in the mix to other instruments besides the guitar. Geezer is pretty prominent here, and you can really hear how much kind of intricate stuff Geezer was doing throughout this album on this new Steven Wilson remix. I kind of like that. And again, if you like the more experimental Black Sabbath stuff from the 70s where they start to use keyboards and strings and things like that, you're going to enjoy hearing the keyboards more prominent in the mix on this remix. So there's that. Then you've got the outtakes and alternate mixes. I mean, for most people, this is going to be kind of throwaway. Listen to it once and kind of done. That's the way I feel about it too. Other than, I'm trying to think. All Moving Parts Stand Still is kind of interesting on here because all of a sudden in this alternate take, there's harmonica. And there's kind of funky kind of keyboards. It almost sounds like a weird outtake from Deep Purple Stormbringer sessions. That's kind of the vibe of the way it sounds on here. Otherwise, Backstreet Kids, You Won't Change Me, and Gypsy, they kind of sound fairly similar. They're early alternative recordings, and different outtakes. Maybe Ozzy's vocals are a little bit different or mixed differently. Whatever. She's Gone is interesting. You get an instrumental mix of the track, and then you also get an outtake version that's got little bit more guitar on it. It's weird, just weird outtakes and alternate takes. Dirty Women's, the guitar solo is a little bit different. So, worth it for a curiosity, but I will say check out All Moving Parts Stand Still, which is probably the most interesting thing on here, which I kind of thought was kind of fascinating to listen to. And then you've got the live stuff, which for most people is the reason to get these, right? So there's not a ton of officially released Black Sabbath live stuff out there, although you can get most of this stuff that they have released officially now has been available on bootlegs forever. But here you have some stuff, like I said, from the tour. Not a ton of information anywhere about what you get on here, but some good tracks. You get the Symptom of the Universe, War Pigs, Gypsy, Black Sabbath, All Moving Parts Stand Still, Dirty Women, a little drum solo from Bill that leads into a guitar solo from Tony that leads into Electric Funeral, Snowblind, and Children of the Grave. So you do have some cool things on here that you don't normally see on some of the live sets that have been released from this era. Cool to hear a couple tracks from the album. Cool to hear Electric Funeral, big time. Symptom of the Universe, awesome. Snowblind, you get every so often. And you got the standard favorites like Children of the Grave and War Pigs and Black Sabbath. But Gypsy's cool to hear live. Gypsy's really good on this. I will say, not the greatest recording you'll ever hear, and Ozzy's vocals are very spotty on this. So that for me was one of the kind of drawbacks to this live set, as Ozzy was not in great vocal form on these recordings. But I think at this point in the game, we're talking about the latter part of the 70s here. We're getting to the latter part of the 70s here, and the guys are on the road a lot, and they're doing a lot of drugs, and you know how it goes, right? Probably not sleeping much and not taking care of themselves. So, but otherwise, the band is firing on all cylinders, and if you can get past the kind of, not superior quality, this is pretty fun. I wish they put more on here. I mean, it's pretty short for the most part, but it is what it is. So there you have that. So, I guess my overall impression on this particular box set is people are going to ask, well, is it worth getting? Well, if you're a collector and the curse is real for you, and you're a big Black Sabbath fan, you probably have to have this, for a lot of reasons. The book is really cool. You get the tour program, which is really cool. The live stuff is great. And the remix by Steven Wilson is pretty interesting. I have been enjoying it. I kind of quite like it. So, but otherwise, unless you really love this album, and this is not one of my favorite Sabbath albums. I have an appreciation for this album, but this isn't one of my, top 5. It may not even be top 10, actually. Top 10. Yeah, it might be top 10. We'll see. But I think that there's enough in here that if you can get it for a decent price, I think I paid $32. ImportCDs.com. Check it out. If you can get it at a decent price, go for it. If you are a fan, if you're kind of like this on Technical Ecstasy, I don't know if there's enough here to really draw you in. But that's kind of been the case on all these box sets I have. There's the Sabotage box set, the Volume 4 box set. I mean, the remasters were a few years ago. It's just crazy how many times they keep releasing these, and I keep buying them. But I will say, yeah, this is pretty cool. This is enjoyable. There's some repeat viewing and listening to on here. But if you're not that much of a completist and you don't need to hear a slightly different mix and you really don't care about the books and all that kind of stuff, well, then, this may not be for you. But if you are a serious Sabbath fan and Sabbath collector, gotta have it. So Technical Ecstasy, Super, Deluxe, all sorts of cool things in here, jam-packed, worth it for a good price. Visit us on the web at www.seaoftranquility.org. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, of course, we're here on YouTube all the damn time. Thanks for watching, everybody. Stay tuned for more stuff here on the channel. Visit us on the web, like I just said. We've got 20 years worth of stuff on our webzine. 20 years. We started in 2001. Here we are in 2021. 20 years. Please make sure you subscribe here to the channel. If you haven't already, click on that notification bell. If you want to make a channel donation, we've got the link to our Ko-Fi page below, as well as the link to our merch page. We can get all sorts of really cool Sea of Tranquility shirts just like this one, and a lot more. We got metal and prog flavored shirts, all sorts of stuff with our logos, all sorts of things. So check that out below. And thanks for watching. We'll see you real soon here on the channel. Take care. I'm Pete Pardo. Bye-bye.